Making a change is it can be challenging, right? Because we're so used to doing what we've been doing our whole entire life. So now it's like I have to unlearn this behavior to relearn the right way. In the inner city communities, it's very difficult to eat healthier because what's there? You have all the fast food restaurants, the bodega, the pizzeria, the Chinese restaurant. For someone to want to do better, they have to make a concerted effort to go out of their way to be able to get these products or these different various types of food. So what I used to do, people need to know their power.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Bold Lounge. This is your host, Ray Ramos, and I have a very special program today to talk about. Special because this special guest is going to be the most special guest I ever have on this podcast, I believe. Not only because of her last name, but because of her passion and the topic that we're going to discuss today. Yes, this is my wife. If you're looking at the screen, yes, Princess Ramos is my wife, a very special guest to have on the Bold Lounge. And, I want to, I'm her biggest fan. This is a woman that has done marathons. She has done triathlons. She has really stretched and expanded her sphere of influence and just conquered any type of fear that you can imagine. But at this time, I'm going to turn it over to her so you can learn more about this very special guest. So, Princess, take it away.
Thank you. That was a wonderful introduction. I love that. All right. Yes. That's my husband. That's my man. That's my man. That's my man. Yes. My name is Princess Ramos. Yeah. I am a retired nurse. I also am a health coach and plant-based nutrition educator, as well as a health supportive chef. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of what I do. Yeah.
Now, you forgot the most important one. She's a military veteran like myself.
Hey. Oh, Army.
Beat Navy, right? So today, folks, I wanted to really delve into our health and wellness, especially in the Black and Brown communities. We have all of these misconceptions of what wellness is, all of these fears, thinking about, what diet and exercise routine to do, what supplements should I be taking, is certain fats healthy for me? We have all of these things that run through our mind, and yet we don't go and seek the proper knowledge and help. We'll talk about it with ourselves. We'll say, "Oh, diabetes is that runs in my family. I'm going to get it." But we have to seek as much knowledge in certain areas, especially when it comes to our health. So Princess, I'm going to give you a few questions that I'd like you to lend your expertise on. And when it comes to diabetes, is it hereditary?
Well, it depends. You have two type of diabetes, right? You have type 1 and type 2. Type 1 diabetes is actually an autoimmune disease, which meant it can be genetic. Type 2, which most people suffer from, is usually not genetic. It is what's in common is lifestyle and eating habits. So that's why oftentimes they could say you can reverse your diabetes with exercise and diet, because with type 2 usually is due to those factors, whether you're overweight, you're not active, that can cause the diabetes. And that's usually people in their older, like adults onset. So you usually get that as an adult, as opposed to type 1 is usually in childhood and adolescence that it presents itself.
I come from a family that has many people with diabetes. My siblings have diabetes. I don't have it. But I remember when I was getting close to retiring from the New York City Police Department, I was up to about 240 pounds and I was pre-diabetic. And this lady here, that's my guest today, really changed my eating habits. I dropped the weight. I don't get past maybe 220 now, and that's not for long. I stay on top of certain things. She watches what I eat, and when I cheat, she makes it known. You're going a little too far in a certain area. Yes, folks, health and wellness, moving, being active, really paying attention to what you put in your body can prevent certain things from happening, especially when it comes to diabetes. Now, there's the common health and wellness misunderstandings, Princess. I want you to elaborate on that a little bit. When I opened up, I said, the misunderstandings include thinking that a single diet or exercise routine works for everyone, that supplements are always necessary, and that avoiding fats are healthy. What say you to that?
All right. So when I speak to people about health and wellness, the first thing I say is think of it under umbrella. We're utilizing a holistic approach. It's not just what you eat or what you do, the activities you do. It also has to do with your spirituality. These are all factors that can in fact affect your health and wellness, your relationships, your joy, your home environment, your physical activity, your creativity, social life. All these things can be factors, and we don't look at it as affecting our health. We just so focus on what we eat or what activities we're doing. Are those important? Absolutely. But also, with your diet, all diets is not one size fit all. You have to find a diet that works for you. I'm plant based, my husband is not, but I do what works for me, and that works for me. As far as utilizing fats, fats are needed, but there's healthy fats, right? Healthy fats like your omegas, you need those for your body building, muscle building. You get those from like your cod liver oil, sea moss. I am such a promoter of sea moss. I make it here. You could buy it at the stores. The stores sell them now. Just try to make sure that you're getting a good quality sea moss. So you're going to have to spend a little money, but health is wealth, right? You can't try to cheat yourself on your wellness and expect to get great goals. So I would say that sea moss, they sell it already pre-made in a jar, like your Whole Foods, or if you have a health food store, they have those things. On my page, I show people how to make it. You soak it overnight. The next day, you just blend it up. Super easy. Like we was talking about the type 1 and type 2 diabetes, like the type 1, only 50% is genetics, so, and type 2, it's like, let me break it down like this. Type 1 is an autoimmune, right? So that means your body attacks the insulin. Type 2, you're either not producing enough insulin or your body is not utilizing it correctly. So, yeah, that's it.
And that's great insight on that. And I hope this is impactful because, even with myself, I'm not plant-based, but being knowledgeable, she took me to the store and we talk about if I'm going to eat a steak, that particular red meat, it's better when you buy it free range, right? The same thing with fish. You see salmon and you can see the difference between wild salmon and farm raised salmon. The color transition is like day and night. You see the full orange color of real salmon, and then the other one looks almost vanilla. You're like, wow. And we're putting these things in our body because we don't know.
Yeah.
She got me to download an app, right? And I'm in the store now, crazy. I'm scanning all these barcodes, and I say, three-quarters of the stuff in the store is unhealthy. I used to like to eat a piece of spam on a piece of bread, and you don't have that much money. But when you scan it, it tells you out of 100, spam is a 0. And I'm watching people just put these things in their cart, and the app is called Yuka. And so if you get a chance to download it, it's free. Really utilize tools like that. Really look at what the packaging is saying when you pick up these particular items. If you're going to be, a meat eater, and what it has done, it has decreased my intake of how much red meat I take in. And she didn't mention that she makes these fabulous ginger shots. Health and wellness is an investment. She invested in a very good juicer, and she makes fresh juice, things that we don't normally do, because when we go to the store, we figure we pick up a container of juice, and just because we're familiar with that company doesn't mean that that thing is good for you to consume, right? Transitioning to supplements, you know, are supplements essential? Are they necessary?
All right. So my suggestion to everyone will be have a visit with a functional medicine doctor. And why I say that is because with them, they do blood tests that your normal PCP will not do because it's not covered under insurance. And with that, they can find the root cause to a lot of things that your doctor is, trying to play the guessing game with the symptoms that you're telling him you're displaying. But a lot of symptoms cover a large range of health issues. So if you go in there and you say, I've been having a headache or whatever, that could be a lot of different things. Whereas with the functional medicine provider, they can do like these tests. You get like 100 and something different biomarkers of different tests that they run, and it gives you a more comprehensive output of what's going on in your body. And, like I really do this because I want to encourage people, empower them, enlighten them, and to just have them live a healthier lifestyle. Should everyone be plant-based? Absolutely not, because that might not work for everyone, depending on what your body needs. But we all could benefit from eating more fruits and vegetables in our diet. And one thing, if I would say one thing a person should do is really try to eliminate the processed foods, because like my husband was saying, in the supermarket, if you look about the foods, you have the perishable foods around the perimeter, right? And all the processed stuff is in the middle aisles. A lot of like 75% of the foods that are in supermarket was not there like 60 years ago. It wasn't even there. But due to mass production and people trying to live we want everything instantaneously. So that's why they come up with all of these different products that you could put a whole meal in the microwave, and in the 5 minutes you have a meal, whereas that's not necessarily the best food for you. And when he was speaking about the Yuka app, the great thing about the Yuka app is YUKA is they'll break it down to you, like what are the ingredients in this product that they say it's bad, and they'll also at the bottom give you healthier alternatives. So it's a great app to have. Yeah.
And I know you talked about holistic, and some of the things people feel that healthy only means physical health. Um, what a you mentioned some of the holistic things that we can do, which is very important. It's not just about going to the gym. It's about laughing. It's about strengthening your relationships. It's about doing everything positive to pour into your health, because whatever you pour in is what you put out. And if you put negative everything into your body, if you walk around mad all the time, or you walk around eating the wrong foods, or you just have the wrong frame of mind, what you bring out is someone that's not healthy mentally, physically, or spiritually. Guys, those three components are very important. And there's something that people think too, and they say only sick people need wellness. Princess, can you tell us a little bit more?
No, everyone needs wellness as preventative for those who aren't presently sick. What really was a catalyst to my change is I was diagnosed with cancer in 2015. I had lost my sister to cancer the year prior, and it really gave me a look on how our food and what we put in our bodies, what we think, what we eat, our relationship, all these different factors, how it actually affects our body. And at that point, I was like, what I'm not going to do is succumb to this thing. And I'm going to make it my point of duty to learn and educate others on how to live a healthier lifestyle. Being a nurse, I saw firsthand on how food has a definite correlation to illness, because you think about it, if a person has a respiratory issue, what the first thing they said, leave out the dairy and things like that, because these are mucus forming foods. It's going to hold the mucus in. If you have hypertension, cut back on your sodium. If diabetic, cutbacks on your sugars. And what people fail to understand is, like, especially with diabetes, when they say sugars, it's not necessarily like a piece of cake or something like that. A lot of food breaks down to sugar. Your rice, your starches, all of these things break down to sugar. Do you need to eliminate it 100%? No, but you do need to monitor it. People will say in moderation. I don't like that word, because what moderation may mean to you may mean something totally different to me. I had a client, she was drinking like 3 sodas a day. And then she was like, but I'm only having 2 a day. That's moderation. No, it's not. Moderation would be like 1 every other day. And she is so great, because she comes to me now. She lost like 40 pounds just by cutting out sodas, because people don't realize how much sugar we drink, how much of our calories we
They don't
drink.
read the can or the bottle. They just
Yeah, because even like, I mean, remember New York had an initiative out where they'll show you like your iced tea have this much amount of sugar. That they had a scale of showing you how much sugar was in each beverage, and people just could not fathom how they incorporate so much sugar in that one beverage. And you think about it, if you're drinking that multiple times a day or even multiple times a week, how much excess sugar you're putting into your body. So even with my husband, he loved soda, but what I used to do with him was you'll take the seltzer water and like add 100% fruit juice to it. So it wasn't really the soda that he wanted. It was that fizz. Right. So yeah, it was that fizz, because we become creatures of habit and we like what we like. So that's the thing, is like, I try to show people how to incorporate things where you don't feel like you're missing out, because people are so focused on what they cannot have, but they're not focused on all the things that you can have.
and guys, this show is really to spark you wanting to do research into what you've been consuming. I'm not 100% there, but I'm better today than I was 10, 15 years ago, because now I'm looking at things better. And, the first thing we look to do when we get sick is we start to blame. Well, you know what? The soda companies, the fast food restaurants, they all display how many calories you're consuming. It's there. We just bypass it. It's on the bottle label. We just bypass it. Or because we don't understand what these things are, you look at the next can of soda you pick up and see how they reword what sugar is and all this other stuff that goes into these products. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have to do your research, your homework. The other thing too is look at our careers. Okay. My wife was a nurse. I was a police officer. We have various careers, and we're so focused on our careers that that lends to a lot of bad habits in terms of us eating as well. I worked midnight tours for most of my career. And so at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, when my body should be fasting, I'm eating dinner. That's not healthy. Your body's not designed that way. Your body's designed at certain hours to shut down so that it can break down what you've already put in your body all day long. Right? So at night, with fasting, when we wake up in the morning, what does the word say? Break fast. So you're breaking the fast of what you've been going through all night, and you're putting back into your body, things that it needs, essentials that it needs. We just have to be careful what we put back in our bodies when we do. Are we going to cheat? Yes. But you need to cut down how much you do that. And especially now in our communities, people are incensed. They don't know why so many cancers are happening to people, why the diabetes and all of this other stuff has been on the rise. A lot of it is coming from how we live our life and what we're consuming and putting into our body.
Another thing I would like to piggyback on and what you were saying is making a change is it can be challenging, right? Because we're so used to doing what we've been doing our whole entire life. So now it's like I have to unlearn this behavior to relearn the right way. And like my husband was saying, in the inner city communities, it's very difficult to eat healthier because what's there? You have all the fast food restaurants, the bodega, the pizzeria, the Chinese restaurant. You have all the unhealthy options. For someone to want to do better, they have to make a concerted effort to like go out of their way to be able to get these products or these different various types of food. So what I used to do, people need to know their power. What I used to do was I used to go to the bodega and I used to go to the supermarket and tell them, can you make sure that you have these items like quinoa or different things? So when I'm telling my patient, say, let's eat less rice, try quinoa, I could say, well, go to the Bravo on such and such because they have it, because not everyone have access to a Trader Joe's or Whole Food or somewhere else that may have healthier options. And let me point this out. Everything in Trader Joe's and Whole Food is not good. I'm just saying, get that Yuka app. It'll help you a lot. But we have to unlearn certain behaviors. I'm Caribbean. I'm from Jamaica. I love food. I'm a foodie and I love flavors. And like with my husband, he's Hispanic, you're talking about robust flavors and food. With him, he has no problem eating plant-based. He was like, as long as the food tastes good, I don't care. Right. So when I first transitioned, I used to trick him and the kids because I wouldn't tell them when I'm incorporating these foods in the diet. And, I was like, how was that today? They was like, "Oh, it was good. It was good." I was like, it wasn't even real meat. And then, oh, no, 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 no. Right. But it's just as a mother and as a woman of faith and a person who have this information, I can't knowingly know that something is bad for you and continue to give it to you just because you like how it tastes. I can't do it.
I go through,
What you do?
I run into,
Yeah.
I run into people that, I used to work with, and we're the same age, 62, 63. And when they ask me, I said, what? You're 63? A lot of what we consume, like I said, what you put in your body pours out. And we have a lot of people that are young in their 50s or whatever, but because of bad eating habits, and not poor exercise routines, they look a lot older than they actually are. And my wife and I, we travel a lot. We travel the world. And what we found out is that here in America, we're a gluttonous society. Everything has to be huge and huge proportions on our plate. If we go out to eat and we get small portions, we think we're being gypped. But you go over to Europe, you go over to Japan, you go to go to Bali, all these different countries, they eat small portions. And they're exercising.
They're walking
They're
everywhere.
walking hills. Old people,
Portugal. Jeez.
they're walking and biking hills, not flat ground. You know where we were? Portugal and Amsterdam, and these people are walking everywhere. Japan, the people are walking everywhere, riding bikes. We have to really incorporate that into our living. That's a part of our wellness.
Another thing too is the food system here in the US is not the best. Let me just say that. And with that being said, is a lot of companies, they utilize ingredients here in the US that are banned in other countries. So you'll have Coca-Cola and their formula for Coca-Cola in the US is totally different than their formula in Europe because Europe don't allow these things. It's like they care about their people, right? But also with that, you have to just really be mindful of what you put in your body. We have to do better. And my husband was saying older, as a nurse, I saw it where young kids are having adult comorbidities. So what that means is I'm seeing a 7-year-old with high blood pressure, high cholesterol. What is that going to lead to? Heart issues. A 7-year-old should not. But why? They're on this all day, right? They're doing this, whether it be a phone, a tablet, sitting in front of a TV. When we were growing up, we're outside all day, all day. I mean, we, as soon as your parent allow you to go outside, it could be like 9, 10 o'clock, and you're outside to
Your
the
face
street
is
lights
white
come
with
on.
salt when you come back in the house.
The street lights is on. You wouldn't want to come in the house because you're scared that your parents say stay inside. So we're outside all day, but these kids don't have the activity level that we used to have. So that's why you're seeing so many kids obese, and the health epidemic is atrocious in the US. It's ridiculous. You have, I forgot the exact numbers, but I want to say it's like over 70% is not even overweight, obese in the US. And you can see it. I sit and people watch. Like we go somewhere, like a restaurant, you sit there, everyone has a big gut. Everyone is overweight. It's not healthy.
Everybody has the diabetic monitor.
Yeah, the little pack. And the thing is, everyone doesn't need to be a size 2 or 4 or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. You need to be healthy, whatever that may look in your frame. And when I'm talking about healthy, I mean your numbers are good. You're not having any health issues. Your heart is working optimal. These are the things, because we're seeing it more and more. Kids, they're on a playing field and just drop dead. So you can't even go by being older no more. It's all about your health. And like he was saying before, it's so many different factors that factor into your health. What you think, what you put in your mind, what your relationships, not just with your significant others, with your family, with your friends. These are things. I'm sorry to say, but change comes with a lot of goodbyes. Goodbyes to different healthy eating habits. Sometimes it's people, but you have to do what's best for you.
So, guys, this is what Bold is all about. We want to bring you content in every area. And that's why, we want you to believe, to overcome, to lead and deliver. So you have to believe that your health is number one. Your mental health is number one, so that you can overcome these obstacles of obesity, of diabetes, of different ailments that can cause cancers, right? Because the ultimate goal is for you to lead your home, to lead yourself. If you can't lead yourself, if you don't have the discipline enough to turn down the plate or say, I'm not going to eat certain things, then how can you lead others? How can you talk to other people about being better, right? And we want to deliver a finished product. We want to deliver, positivity into the community. So today's episode is about busting the wellness myths. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. Focus on real food, right? Be wary of burning fat zones and things of that nature, weight loss. If you're going to lose weight, consult with a physician, consult with a professional before you start looking into all these different weight loss routines, when actually you can do the work, right? We get lazy and we want to take things, what is it, Ozempic or whatever that is that people are taking now to help them lose weight. And the medication is not even for losing weight, but because it works, people are taking it. Everybody's taking it. Not me, not my wife, but,
Yeah.
consult with medical professionals. Don't go into anything blindly. My wife always reminds me that. I've gotten better at it. Really do your research and read about certain things if you have the time. But your
Yeah.
mental, your physical, and your spiritual is most important. So I want to thank Princess. Do you have any closing words for your fans now? Because please tap into Wellness with Princess.
What? Yes. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Wellness with Princess. If I have one last thing I would like to say, would be, don't try to do everything at one time. Make one change at a time and stick with it. If you make a mistake and you fall off, guess what? Brush yourself off and get back to it, because we all want to be as healthy as possible, because it's all about quality of life, right? You know, these companies, they make these drugs to just prolong your life, but who wants to be on drugs for the rest of their lives, right?
Scares me every time I see the commercials.
Yeah, you listen to these things that it can cause death. We're like, what?
Blindness.
Just listen. Just do your work. Just try to do one thing at a time, and please cut out the processed foods.
So I want to thank Princess for being gracious enough to be on my podcast.
Yay.
She's a great person, a good spirit. Please follow her on her platforms of Wellness with Princess. You will not regret taking those steps. We will continue to bring you content like this. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so that you guys can get all of the content of the Bold Lounge, because we boldly step out and tap into things that other people may not want to hear or may not want to talk about. But we're all about building, empowering, uplifting, and launching our communities into better ways of life and better thinking. So God bless everyone, and thank you for tapping into the Bold Lounge.